We will start with a grounding question of who named you and what is the meaning of your name. Your name is your first identity story, and honoring that opens the door for deeper healing conversations. So let's meet our guest. If you would tell us about your name, who gave it to you, and what does it mean to you?
Thank you, Angola, for the question. My name is Alice Fong. My last name, Fong, is a family name. And my dad is the one who named me. And he picked Alice. I think it was a name of a classmate that he has and he liked the name. So that's how I got my American name. And then my Chinese name is actually it means auspicious jade. Jade is a family name that, like my grandfather, great grandfather, has that name, and along with our last name. And then auspicious. My dad knew a gal with this name, and to match it in the written language, then it became auspicious. It was supposed to be lucky, and then it became auspicious. So
Ah.
that's that's what it is.
Auspicious is pretty lucky. That's a pretty lucky name.
Yeah. Thank
Future
you.
success. Wonderful. And what part of your journey are you choosing to share with us today?
I think that with the holidays and my father actually, because this is an at-will, a death with dignity state, he chose when he wanted to. I think that with the holidays and my father actually, because this is an at-will, a death with dignity state, he chose when he wanted to go. He had a terminal cancer. And so in the coming days was his transition date is December 30th, a couple years ago. And so one of the things that I think is important and part of my healing journey is to also share how it has my journey of healing. And so I think that that would be the part that I would share today.
That's awesome. And I know that we've spoken earlier, and your father passed away just in the time of year close to my grandmother passing away. She passed away last year, on December 22nd. And we were preparing for Christmas, and we went up to Leavenworth, Washington, and we were looking at steins. My grandfather used to collect them, and we were getting goodies. And yeah, she held out until we got back from Leavenworth, and that's when we got word. And so this is the 1 year anniversary of her passing as well. So it's definitely a wonderful subject for anyone who's lost a loved one and is going through the holiday season, especially for the first time without them.
Mhm.
So, what is one lesson or truth that you hold on to now, having gone through that
You know,
experience?
yes, and I think healing is something that and loss and trauma is something we all will experience. And especially having gone through a global pandemic, all of us have gone through it. And in how we're engaging each other and holding each other and having grace because everybody confronts it, deals with it differently. And some people may have tools and their culture or their beliefs, help them and provide them with more traditions and ways to hold that and to work on their healing journey, knowing that that loss, whatever it is, isn't something that will ever kind of heal from totally entirely. There is there is that missing loved one, but also that there are healthier ways to honor that and to uplift that person's legacy, and to also be there for each other, to to hold each other, I think, in our society, because sometimes our feelings and emotions can manifest itself in other ways and be displaced. And it's not an anger towards you. Your coworker or loved one might be missing somebody that they have lost. and it comes out in anger and so forth. So it's not just the person going through the loss, it's also all of those around them and how do we support them in that. And so that's a truth that um, I've been learning more about and realizing and wanting to share that with the clients that we work with as well, and also for myself and for those who are around me too.
Yeah. And being the CEO of the Center for Ethical Leadership, how did you feel supported through your grief?
Oh my gosh, I was so blessed. I have to say that because my father decided when that he was done and he wanted to transition and when to transition. I shared that with my board, I shared it with my team, and I really decided to share it more publicly within my Facebook and LinkedIn, groups. And what was really helpful was that my board and my team, they just said, hey, whatever you need, whatever time you need, whatever you need to do, take care of yourself, take care of your grief and your healing and all the work, was not a extra burden on me. And it really helped because it was my father and I were super tight. It was super challenging. 2024 was very challenging to go
Yeah.
through. And I wouldn't have gotten through it without the love and care and support that I have. And part of what, for CEL and why I think this is so important, and we're folding into this into all of our work and our approach to leadership, is that when we care for each other and when we change our cultures in our workplaces and community, and we're looking at how we work with people dealing with loss and grief and trauma and how to restore that, we really think about, that extending that humanity. Because I have to say, in 2023, when my father was going through all of his things, in 2024, I was in this healing journey, and I have friends who also lost loved ones, at around the same time, and they did not have the support that I had. Their workplaces just said, hey, 5 days, come back to work.
Yeah.
And so it is something that, I share how blessed I am with my team, not to gloat and rub it into other people's faces, but to offer an other alternative and way that we can support each other and hopefully inspire and touch some folks' hearts so that we can look at this in different ways. And there's a holding of attention because some people are like, well, some people will abuse it. Yes, some people may
Yeah.
abuse it, but to say, have that fear of those few people who abuse it and not offer it to the folks who all need it is, just harms ourselves, our businesses, our productivity, our culture, everything that allows us to really thrive. And so that's, yeah, long response, but I feel wholeheartedly in going through this, having this blessing to go through this and have this support and seeing, how we can be better for each other and extend, humanity and grace to one another on a more
Yes,
deeper level.
absolutely. And that speaks highly of the leadership there at the center, and speaks highly of your board that they prioritized your self-care and leaned into your healing journey by allowing you that space and that time and trusting you that this is what you needed, and knowing that you would come back stronger and having learned lessons that you can share. So, what does healing look like for you in this season?
I think and I was very fortunate that in 2024, I still had a body of work to provide leadership development for those who are formerly incarcerated. And 6 days later, I had a session, and I think that that session was the most powerful session, and everybody was so gracious and caring and loving, because it hurt, and then it also was liberating and freeing because it allowed me to, without knowing at the time, uplift my father's legacy. So I get to work with my father with me and all of his teachings that he had provided me, and leadership development, and built my character and my resiliency and strength and care and compassion. I'm able to share that with other people and our clients and the work that we do at CEL. And I just feel like in this moment of healing that I continue to have the opportunity to share and extend his legacy through the work that we're doing here at CEL. And it's like every day I think of him, every day he is with me. And we don't, our popular culture doesn't really think about, oh, we are, when we show up, we bring our ancestors and we're all in this wholeness together, because we just kind of, compartmentalize our lives. But in reality, all of us, regardless of our faith and beliefs and thoughts, we bring on teachings that we learn from our grandparents, our parents, our aunties, that stranger who, said something to you while you were sitting next to them on the plane. All of
Yeah.
those things help us be who we are. And especially those who have transitioned on in our lives, they and their wisdom and their experiences that we shared together are all part of who we are, and makes up who we are and how we can share more broadly. So I feel like in this journey that is part of it right now, and that in its whole sadness, holding that tension of the sadness, but also the joy to be able to do that. And for me personally, that has been very helpful.
Yeah,
Allows me to
absolutely.
smile.
Yes, yes. And you have a beautiful smile. That's part of why I wanted to do this podcast, because sharing really is caring. And you can learn so much from others, whether they're similar to you or if they're completely the opposite. You can still learn from someone just by hearing their story and hear how they made it through something that you've gone through, or inevitably you will go through. We will all experience grief in our life. And so it's powerful to hear someone else's story of how they made it through and how they were treated, so we can reach out and say, I think I need some of that. It's the wisdom of grief circles, sitting together in community, not always having to out yourself to your friends or your family if you're struggling, and being able to sit just with people who are going through a similar experience and listen to their stories, and gain some strength from them, and then share your story and give some of your strength to someone else. What would you say to someone who is listening right now and needs encouragement?
Oh, yes. And I love how you shared about the grief circles. I would say that you're not alone, cheesy as it may sound.
Yeah.
It is the whole truth. Going through this grief, I had total strangers who, whatever reason, I just felt compelled to share. And they were able to share, and it provided me relief, because my heart literally felt like it hurt. And some of my other friends also shared the same thing. It felt like a physical hurt, even though it wasn't a physical hurt per se. And I really was fortunate that my father went through hospice for a hot second, and the hospice folks said, "Hey, we have these grief groups that you can be a part of." And I said, "Sign me up." And they give you some time to breathe before you enter in the grief group, and I kept pushing for it, and so I have to say my grief group, I started with them in May of 2024, and we talked about it, and that shared experience And we ended up, continuing to hang out. We once a month have a grief group dinner and we
Nice.
kind of check in with each other. We had our first holiday one this month. And knowing that you have this group, and we even talked about it. We talked about what made us, come together.
Yeah.
And we're one of the few groups that continue to do that. All of us, except for one person, shows up and regularly, break bread.
Mm.
And knowing that, I'm here, you're here, there's so many ways to reach out and engage and read and hear stories that you are not alone. There's so many people who are here, who are compassionate, and find the folks that work for you and brings you peace and joy. Because when I was going through this, I needed space, and I
Yeah.
found the few folks that I could engage with, and they helped me through it. So, being open to receiving, support, love, and care from those who are around you. Don't do it alone, reach out.
Yeah, and that's powerful. I had a very close friend that lost their parent this past year, and one of the things they kept saying was that they needed space and they wanted that time alone. And of course, loving and caring for them, I wanted to know that they weren't self-medicating, but trying to do it in a gentle way. And so I got certified as a adult mental health first aider. And you just learn the skills of how to reach out non judgmentally and offer help and support and just let them know that they're not alone. Just in case they don't have a group like yours or they don't have a tribe that can come and break bread. That is such a beautiful tradition that we've done in so many cultures that we sit down and we break bread together. So I'm happy that your group has continued to meet up and check in on each other and just make sure you're still doing okay.
Mhm.
What is one grounding practice that you could share with the listeners today that they could try right away?
You know what? I would say breathe.
Yeah.
I didn't practice it all the time. And when I did, it's helpful. Because sometimes just the science behind grounding and being able to take a deep breath and several deep breaths help kind of reset our brains. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes I would try to remember to do that before my meetings, before I hold space. And it really helps um, kind of cleanse, at least for me, how it feels for me. If I feel like it's very cleansing, and it prepares me for things, because it is going to be hard. There were a lot of things that I didn't do on time
Yeah.
because it was the grief can be very um, you know in a way it can be debilitating, and in all honesty, I had moments where I just was exhausted and just needed to sleep. And so hearing your body to sleep, and then also know that, you'll get through it. It takes time. And to find some trusted folks who are in your life, or go to, reach out to grief counselors who are professional on that, so that they can walk with you on this and check in with you. It's so important. Our popular culture doesn't really talk about how to manage grief as much. There are some people, some cultures and groups who do it very well and has the whole, space to remember their loved ones, and
Yeah.
all these other ways and traditions to help with that processing and remember every year and make it a joyful experience and celebration. And then there are folks who don't have that. And so learning some ways to do that is so very helpful. And that was the grief group. it gave us a whole notebook of all these little things that you can choose from that works for you as you go through your grief journey.
Wonderful. Yes, I this year my sister came over and she brought home videos from,
Mm,
2000, 2002, all the way up to 2010, and we were looking at Christmases and summers, and it was so wonderful to just see family in different stages and different ages, and having my grandmother on video at Christmas and her laugh. It was her favorite holiday. Oh, it was just so healing to have that. We all were laughing and, a couple of tears, and it felt really good, like she was here with us. And I have an altar in my office with pictures of all of those who have passed on, and it's grown considerably since the pandemic. But to have those memories, to watch them, was just wonderful. And having us all there, it felt like she was in the room with us.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And coming
Church.
in today, I also did what you suggested, breathing work. Is powerful, and it calms you. If you're feeling anxiety, it can help you to focus and just be in the moment. So if you'd like to do a breathing exercise now, we can practice one that I always do before a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I do it after a meeting as well, just to calm my energy down. And I do a countdown of breathing in for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And so you breathe in deeply for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you hold it for 2 seconds, and then breathe out for 5 seconds. And you can breathe out with your mouth or your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you just return to normal breathing. And if your energy is calm, you can stay there. If you need to do it again, you can always repeat until you feel ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Thank
thank you for sharing your truth. And is there anything else you want to say, just leaving for anybody who's been listening and would love to hear more about grief circles or grief groups? Do you have any recommendations for who they can speak to or where they can reach out to?
Yes, obviously, Angola, you are doing this work, and I think it also is that you have to find a right fit, and so being
Mm,
patient, reaching out to the different cultures that have it, if you are Buddhist, going, finding a Buddhist temple, if you have if going to a therapist is great and something that you would be interested. I went to psychology.com, prayed about it, and then typed in what I was looking for, and poof, I found a therapist, and he really helped me with my grief journey because I was stuck. And he helped me get
yeah.
unstuck. And so yeah, it takes a little while. I mean, I was in my first grief group and I was just not having it. And I told the grief counselor, I was like, this is not working for
Yeah,
me.
this is not it.
And so she was like, hey, there's this other group that might be a little bit better.
Mm,
And so she asked that group if because they had already started. It usually is disruptive. But this group that I'm in, that I'm still with and break bread with, they said, yes, bring her along. And there were a couple folks who had lost their parent as well, and so it really works. So I think that it's also as hard as it is that you're going through all these things, doing the due diligence, putting in that energy to do the due diligence to find a group and to talk to people who are able to help you through your healing journey the way that you need it is also important. And that takes time to find and to give that time. Because, yes, I had several group sessions that's just like, this makes me so upset and it makes me feel worse.
yeah.
And so I finally had to just talk, it took me a little bit to have the courage to just go to the organizer and just say, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
Because it is to give you life and light and love and care and compassion. And as a person who is not of the same culture, it was
Mm,
also really hard. They were all white, and even this other group, they're all white. And it's not to say that you can't have mixed groups, but there's also a holding of different experiences as well, and knowing that, when you're in these mixed groups, what the expectations can be, and how to navigate through that too. And so I think that
yeah.
it's important to have affinity groups, and then there's also value in having mixed groups. And so being able to find what works for you and to think about it. And I wholeheartedly believe in this. And so if you want to have a chat with me, we can jump on a Zoom call or something like that, or a phone call, and just think and process. And sometimes you just need to talk to somebody about it, and come up with these ideas, because chances are you might already know this. But because you're going through the grief right now, at least for me, my brain had grief brain, and grief brain is a thing. You're not tracking as
Mm,
much as you would normally be tracking. It's kind of like, I didn't do drugs before, but it's like having drugs, you're just kind of blocked.
yeah.
And you're in shock. And so being able to sometimes process with somebody, and think through some things, is helpful. And so, you can share my email contact. It's alice@ethicalleadership.org, and just say, hey, like I want to talk to you about, some ideas of on grief, my grief journey. And I will wholeheartedly take that, because I think we're here to, support each other on this.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy you brought up the issue of culture and the importance of being in both the mixed groups and a homogenous group that really can understand your cultural experience and identity. I think I spoke previously about New Orleans when I lived there and how different funerals are in the Creole culture and in New Orleans in general, that it's a celebration.
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole parade and they'll parade all the way down to the cemetery and they play their instruments and people dance and they express
Mm-hmm.
their grief differently. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
being able to offer that to someone who needs it, it might be familiar to them and it might just feel really good to do it in a way that's different is
Mm-hmm.
important. So thank you for offering your wisdom and you as a contact for anyone who might want to reach out. And also, I like how you explain that you tried a couple before you found one that really worked for you and that you just don't give up.
Yeah.
It's okay to walk away if it doesn't work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's important to know that it's not going to work the first time for everybody, and it's okay to walk away. It's okay to find something that works specifically for you. Because having loved ones who've lost loved ones, you really want to be there for them. You want to be there with them. You don't want them to be alone, but it is part of the learning curve to say, okay, you're grieving in your own way, and you know what you need. So if you need to be around a different group, if you need some alone time, just if you need to rest, like you said, you get really tired when you're grieving, you need that rest to recharge your battery, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And to give people space to grieve in their own way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sitting with me today. This was a
Yeah.
wonderful conversation. I'm glad we got to sit down with each other again.
Yes.
I know you had mentioned you love music and that helps you also through your
Yeah.
journey. Yes. What's some of the music that you like to listen to that
Oh,
really
yes,
helps lift
yes.
your spirit?
Oh, yes. For me, I'm really deep, so I love, everything that I do is about helping the world thrive together. And so I love my Mariah Carey and my Michael Jackson songs, because of their depth is so enriching and inspiring, and a reminder. And I shared about Mariah Carey, but one of the songs that really helped me, is Through the Rain.
Mm.
And it was just so powerful. Her voice is so powerful. I reshare it multiple times on Facebook for myself and for friends. And it is so, music is also a lovely practice to help, at least for me, to process and just to be meditative,
Yeah.
and